Over the past 2 decades, 10 American cities have undergone dramatic economic and demographic transformations. From Silicon Valley to Jersey City, Indian immigrants have reshaped entire metropolitan areas. Today we are examining the data behind these changes and what they mean for America's future. The numbers tell a story most Americans don't know. In 1990, fewer than 450,000 Indian immigrants lived in the United States. By 2020, that number exceeded 2.7 million. But this isn't just about immigration statistics. This is about how concentrated settlement patterns created economic powerhouses that generated billions in tax revenue and completely altered the character of major American cities. Let's start with the most obvious example, Silicon Valley. In 1980, Santa Clara County was primarily known for agriculture and aerospace manufacturing. The tech boom was just beginning, and the workforce was predominantly white and Asian American from East Asian countries. Fast forward to today. Walk through Cupertino, Fremont, or Milpitas, and you'll find something unprecedented in American history. Entire suburban communities where Indian immigrants and their families represent 30 to 40% of the population. The economic impact is staggering. Indian Americans founded or co-founded over 200 companies in Silicon Valley worth more than $1 billion each. We are talking about Google, Adobe, MasterCard, and hundreds of startups that employ tens of thousands of people. Sundar Pichai runs Google. Satya Nadella leads Microsoft. Shantanu Narayan heads Adobe. This isn't coincidence. This represents a fundamental shift in who controls America's most important industry. But the transformation goes deeper than corporate leadership. In Fremont, California, 38% of the population is now Indian American. The city generates over $2 billion in annual economic activity, much of it tied to Indian-owned businesses and Indian American professionals working at major tech companies. The local impact is visible everywhere. Indian grocery stores anchor major shopping centers. Hindu temples dot the landscape. Bharatanatyam dance studios operate next to traditional American businesses. The annual India Day parade draws 100,000 people. This isn't just demographic change. This is economic and cultural transformation happening faster than most American communities have ever experienced. 3,000 miles away, Jersey City, New Jersey tells an even more dramatic story. In 1990, Jersey City was synonymous with urban decay. High crime rates, economic stagnation, population flight to the suburbs. The city was hemorrhaging. Residents and businesses. Enter Indian immigrants, particularly from Gujarat and Punjab. They didn't just move to Jersey City. They invested in it. Indian American entrepreneurs purchased struggling businesses, renovated commercial districts, and created economic networks that attracted more immigrants and more investment. Today, Jersey City's Little India district generates over $100 million in annual economic activity. The area around Newark Avenue hosts more than 300 Indian businesses, restaurants, grocery stores, jewelry shops, travel agencies, and professional services. But here's what makes Jersey City unique. The political transformation happened alongside the economic one. In 2013, Jersey City elected its first Indian American city councilman. By 2021, Indian Americans held multiple seats on the city council and occupied senior positions in city government. This represents political representation proportionate to the community's economic contribution. The results speak for themselves. Crime rates dropped 40% since 2000. Property values increased 300%. The city's bond rating improved to investment grade for the first time in decades. Critics argue this success came at a cost. Long-term residents, particularly African American and Hispanic families, report feeling displaced by rising rents and changing neighborhood character. This tension reflects a broader pattern we'll see in multiple cities. Seattle's East Side suburbs present another model of transformation. Bellevue, Redmond, and Kirkland were sleepy bedroom communities serving Microsoft and Boeing employees. Nice places to live, but economically dependent on a few major employers. Indian immigration changed that equation entirely. Microsoft's aggressive recruitment of Indian engineers in the 1990s and 2000s created anchor communities that attracted more Indian immigrants, who then started their own businesses and created independent economic networks. Today, Indian Americans represent 15% of Bellevue's population but control an estimated 30% of the city's business wealth. We are talking about thousands of H-1B visa holders who became entrepreneurs, creating companies that employ American workers. The Crossroads Shopping Center in Bellevue now hosts the largest Indian grocery store in the Pacific Northwest. The annual Diwali celebration draws 50,000 people. Indian classical music concerts sell out venues that traditionally hosted country music shows. But the real story is educational achievement and economic mobility. Bellevue School District, heavily influenced by Indian American families' emphasis on academic excellence, now ranks among the top 10 school districts nationwide. Property values reflect this academic reputation, with median home prices exceeding $1.5 million. This creates a feedback loop. High-achieving schools attract more high-income families, which increases tax revenue, which funds better schools, which attracts more high-income families. The result is economic transformation that extends far beyond the Indian American community itself. North Carolina's Research Triangle tells perhaps the most compelling story of all. Raleigh-Durham was a nice college town surrounded by tobacco farms and textile factories. When those industries collapsed in the 1980s and 1990s, the region faced potential economic devastation. Indian immigrants, particularly those with advanced degrees in engineering and life sciences, became the foundation of the region's reinvention as a biotechnology and pharmaceutical hub. Companies like SAS Institute, founded by Indian American entrepreneurs, employed thousands of people and generated billions in economic activity. Duke University and University of North Carolina actively recruited Indian graduate students and researchers, who then stayed to start companies and families. Today, the Research Triangle hosts more than 100 Indian American-owned businesses worth more than $10 million each. These aren't just tech startups. We're talking about pharmaceutical companies, biotech firms, and engineering consultancies that compete globally. The cultural impact is equally significant. The Hindu Society of North Carolina built a $15 million temple complex that serves as a community center for the entire region. Indian restaurants and grocery stores anchor commercial districts throughout Raleigh, Durham, and Chapel Hill. But here's what makes the Research Triangle unique. The integration happened gradually over 30 years, allowing established communities time to adapt and benefit from economic growth. Unlike cities where rapid demographic change created tensions, the Research Triangle demonstrates how immigration can strengthen existing communities when managed thoughtfully. Edison, New Jersey represents the most complete transformation on our list. In 1980, Edison was a typical middle-class suburb, overwhelmingly white, economically stable but unremarkable, culturally homogeneous. Today, Edison is 46% Asian, with Indian Americans representing the largest single ethnic group. This didn't happen by accident. It represents deliberate community building by Indian immigrant families who prioritized education, economic investment, and political participation. The results are measurable. Edison's public schools rank among the top 5% nationally. The township's tax base grew 400% since 1990. Crime rates are among the lowest in New Jersey. Property values increased faster than the state average every year for the past 2 decades. But Edison also illustrates the challenges of rapid demographic transformation. Long-term residents report feeling like strangers in their own community. Town meetings are conducted in multiple languages. Local businesses cater to Indian customers with limited English signage. Traditional American cultural events draw smaller crowds than Indian festivals. These tensions aren't necessarily problematic, but they represent real social changes that affect everyone in the community. Edison's success also attracted criticism from immigration restrictionists, who argue that concentrated ethnic settlement undermines American cultural cohesion. Supporters counter that Edison proves immigration strengthens American communities economically and socially. The data supports both perspectives, depending on which metrics you prioritize. Austin, Texas presents a different model entirely. Austin's "Keep Austin Weird" culture seemed incompatible with Indian immigration patterns we've seen in other cities. Yet Indian Americans have become integral to Austin's tech boom while maintaining the city's distinctive character. The key difference is economic integration rather than geographic concentration. Indian American entrepreneurs in Austin started companies that employed diverse workforces and participated in existing business networks rather than creating parallel economic systems. Dell Technologies, indeed founded by Michael Dell but dependent on Indian American engineers and managers, exemplifies this integration model. The company employs thousands of Indian Americans alongside workers from dozens of other backgrounds. Austin's Indian American community established cultural institutions without creating geographic enclaves. The annual Diwali festival takes place downtown alongside SXSW and Austin city limits. Indian restaurants operate next to barbecue joints and food trucks. This integration model produced economic benefits without the social tensions we've seen in other cities. Indian Americans represent 8% of Austin's population but report high levels of satisfaction with community acceptance and cultural preservation. The lesson from Austin is that successful immigration integration depends as much on how communities choose to organize themselves as on the immigrants themselves. Atlanta's transformation tells another variation of the story. Unlike West Coast cities that attracted Indian immigrants through tech industry recruitment, Atlanta became a destination for Indian entrepreneurs seeking lower business costs and market opportunities in the Southeast. The result is a different kind of economic impact. Rather than working for major corporations, Indian immigrants in Atlanta created thousands of small and medium-sized businesses, hotels, restaurants, convenience stores, gas stations, and professional services. These businesses employ primarily non-Indian workers, while creating economic opportunities throughout Atlanta's metropolitan area. The hotel industry illustrates this pattern perfectly. Indian Americans own an estimated 60% of independent hotels in the Atlanta region, employing thousands of people and generating hundreds of millions in tax revenue. This entrepreneurial model created economic benefits, without requiring high levels of education or technical skills from the broader community. Unlike Silicon Valley, where integration depends on shared expertise in technology, Atlanta's model allows different communities to benefit from economic growth in different ways. The cultural impact reflects this economic model. Atlanta's Indian community maintains strong cultural traditions while integrating into existing social and political networks. These 10 cities represent different models of how Indian immigration transforms American communities. The Silicon Valley model creates economic powerhouses but raises questions about cultural integration and housing affordability. The Jersey City model demonstrates how immigration can revitalize struggling urban areas but may displace existing residents. The Research Triangle model shows how gradual integration can benefit everyone but requires decades to achieve. The Edison model proves that demographic transformation can coexist with economic success but creates social tensions. The Austin model suggests that cultural integration and economic growth can happen simultaneously with thoughtful community planning. Looking forward, these patterns will likely spread to other American cities as Indian immigration continues and second-generation Indian Americans establish their own businesses and families. The economic benefits are clear: job creation, tax revenue, entrepreneurship, and global competitiveness. The social challenges are equally clear: housing costs, cultural change, political representation, and community cohesion. The transformation of these 10 cities by Indian immigration represents one of the most significant demographic and economic changes in modern American history. Whether you view these changes as success stories or cautionary tales depends largely on your priorities. Economic growth versus cultural continuity, global competitiveness versus local community, demographic diversity versus social cohesion. What's undeniable is that these changes are accelerating and spreading to more American cities every year. The question isn't whether Indian immigration will continue to transform American cities. The question is whether American communities will learn from these 10 examples to maximize benefits while minimizing social tensions. What do you think these transformations mean for America's future? Share your perspective in the comments below.